Good evening. I know this is a little unconventional. You all just received your dinners, but the entrepreneurship program at Ball State has taught us that we don't always follow the rules. So in order to get the evening concluded in time to go to the after party, we thought we would start while you were still eating. So please enjoy your dinner while I talk. My name is Dr. Jennifer Bott, and it is truly my honor as the Dean of the Miller College of Business to welcome you this evening. We're celebrating two very special things tonight. We're celebrating our incredible seniors who have passed through what is legendary at Ball State and across the nation as the Senior Sweat Project. So this particular idea was born, raised, and extended by our very own Dr. Kratko, who you'll hear from later this evening. But before I tell my Don Kratko story, because we're going to hear a lot of those tonight, I would like our seniors, who will be recognized momentarily, to stand up. The more we can recognize you this evening, the better. So if the graduating class of the Entrepreneurship program, please stand. We are so very proud of you and can't wait to see what you all achieve. You know, one of the best things about this program, and truly Ball State, is that all success and everything is done because we have an incredible community of support and a web of connection that makes our alumni come back and give back, and that it truly is the differentiator in this program. I've had the incredible opportunity over the last 2 years to see how our alumni are available to our students at every step. And I know from spending some time at E-Day last week and with our seniors that your engagement with them has made all the difference. So please join me in thanking all of you who have given to our program now, in the past, and certainly in the future. And none of this would be possible without the vision, passion, and conviction of Dr. Donald F. Kratko. We all have Don stories, and mine is very short because I had just a moment with Don. But if you'll give me a moment, I will tell you my story. So I was just coming out of PhD school in 2003, and I interviewed at Ball State. The only business school I interviewed at. My PhD is in industrial psychology, and so I felt a little different coming here. But I had the incredible opportunity one evening as part of the selection process to go to a fantastic Muncie restaurant, unfortunately it's gone now, and dine with three of our best, Ramon Avila, Jeff Hornsby, and Don Kratko. I remember I went home and I told my parents, who were from Fort Wayne and desperately wanted me to move back to Indiana and not to Chicago or St. Louis, where I also had competing offers. I said, Mom, I'm the only woman going into this department, and these people are amazing. There was this guy, Don. He made me want to sign up for Ball State and get a degree, not just teach there, and I cannot believe how lucky I'm going to be to work with him. December 2003. So I accept the position, and I begin mid-August 2004. And I see Don around the hallways, and it was a great entrance into my professional career. And 2 weeks later, Don announces he's leaving, and then he's gone. And so it's funny, because I haven't seen him since, until I saw him tonight. I've forgiven him, it's okay. But you know, tonight is a testament to all that he built, all the people whose lives have been immeasurably changed by his contribution, his vision, and his caring, because I think that's what defines Don to me. And so I thank you for all you have done for us and for entrepreneurship across the country and the world. And so it's my honor also this evening, not to have just told you my Don story, but to introduce the 16th president of Ball State University, Dr. Terry King. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Terry. Terry served as our provost for over a decade, helping craft the academic long-range plan that built the College of Health and that launched in July of 2016. Terry's impact across the campus is noteworthy, and I could spend the entire evening sharing the many things that he has helped us achieve. But one of the most notable things about Terry is his spirit of service. Terry served as our interim president for a month, and you know what? He was kind of good at it, so he got to do it for another year and a half. And on June 9th, Terry talks about his graduation as he retires after 11 years of service to Ball State University. And so this may be the very final time I'm able to introduce my provost and now my president, Dr. Terry King.
Thank you, Dr. Bott. She did fail to mention that we're also neighbors, so I'm sure we'll see each other occasionally over the years. You know, I got an email early on from Professor Marvel asking me to help start off this event with a bang. I think he was speaking metaphorically when he said that, but he failed to remember that my background is chemical engineering, so I certainly can create an explosion if you want. But actually, it's an interesting contrast. I mean, obviously, many congratulations to the students who have survived the rigors of this entrepreneurship program. And the senior high-stakes course that students take is unique to this program. Certainly in my area of discipline, we would never do something like this. But in the entrepreneurship world, obviously, failure is expected. In fact, in some areas, even cherished because of what you learn. In my world, you don't want to fail. It's like you don't want to send up a space shuttle and have it fail, and those kind of things. So it's a really noteworthy thing. And so I have an enormous respect for the students who go through this program, enormous respect for this program. I think it's just absolutely wonderful. I'm looking forward to soon seeing our graduates' innovative ideas in the marketplace. You know, I also, this is a great event because you're honoring not only the students, but also alumni, and of course you've already heard about Professor Karatko. 12 years ago, an outstanding alumni award winner, Kate Endress Dirksen, went through the senior sweat course, and she went on to found Ditto a few years later. Sort of an example of the kind of things that our students do. And of course, the Legacy Award winner, Dr. Donald Karatko, founded the program, and Ball State University certainly sees this as a signature program for the university over the years. I am absolutely delighted to see so many alumni of the program here and so many people from the business community. This has such a wonderful impact on the academic program. It may be hard for you to feel that, but having our students see the full circle that happens when they go through this program, leave the university, work hard, and actually come back and give back to the university. It's very, very important for the university. It's very important for the College of Business, and it's very important for this particular program. Just a couple comments about Dean Bott. She's been in this role now as the dean on a permanent basis for about a year and a half or so, a year, 2 years? I lose track of time. You know, being a dean of a college at a university is also a high-stakes role, and failure is not an option in a role like Dr. Bott's. And she has done a remarkable job over those 2 years she's been in the role. You know, I expect all the deans to be able to manage day to day. That's a given. You have to know how to do that. Another important factor is every dean, every administrator has to be able to solve problems because they're inevitable, especially at a large, complex university. But one of the most important functions of an academic leader, such as a dean, is to have a vision for the future and lead that unit, in this case the college, to that future vision. And Dr. Bott is doing that. An example of what is happening, in the creation of the College of Health, we had 2 academic programs that no longer had a home, Family and Consumer Sciences and the Department of Technology. Those 2 departments had over 22 academic programs that have grown over the years in very disparate areas. And a number of those programs are moving into the College of Business. I think those programs will be a lot stronger in the College of Business under the leadership of Dr. Bott and the faculty members who are represented here. They can certainly grow and nurture those programs. And I'm convinced it'll also make the college itself stronger as well. So that's an example of being entrepreneurial at a university level, which is so important. Well, again, congratulations to all the award recipients that you'll hear about this evening, and a special congratulations to the students as you approach graduation, although by my calculation you have about 2 weeks left, and I'm sure you still have some homework. So you can do that when you get home tonight. Again, thank you very much, and congratulations to everyone.
Hi, good evening. My name's Kara Kavensky, and I'm thrilled to be here this evening. Thank you to this wonderful program. I'm very supportive of entrepreneurs and show this through my work through the Venture Club of Indiana. A couple comments to make. First of all, very excited about this graduating class. We celebrate entrepreneurship every month at our meetings. And this year, this summer, with our Innovation Showcase, it's going to take on a different look. We've created a brand new, higher energy situation where we are bringing a different level to entrepreneurship in Indiana by establishing the foundation for what will be the Midwest South by Southwest. We call it INX3. Without oxygen, which is capital, entrepreneurs would just be with ideas. So we need funding. And so with the combination of creating a Hoosier symbiosis of bringing together entrepreneurship with venture capital, we're creating a very high-level economic development forum with a lot of energy and a lot of excitement. A quick story before we show this quick video. Thomas Sanders and Gardner Hubbard, two very early angel investors who believed in a man named Alexander Graham Bell. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have these glistening lights above us, this obnoxious spotlight in my face, and many other technologies that have grown from that, including IoT, tech in all shapes and sizes. And we welcome all of these amazing ideas and entrepreneurship that's coming out of this program. So thank you very much. It's exciting to be here in Muncie. I personally haven't been here in about 20 years since I took my little sister out to dinner. She's a Cardinal. So I was excited to actually find this place after this long. So thank you so much, and here's the video for NX3. Hope to see you there.
Awesome. Here we go. My name is Matt Marvel. I'm very excited to see all of you here tonight. I know several of you are sick of me beating up your inbox. Please forgive me, and thank you again. It is my pleasure to recognize our 2017 graduating class. But before I do, I'd like to take a moment to explain why this is so special. First, no other program in the country has the tradition or richness that Ball State has in entrepreneurship education and the excellence of there. This is hands down, and I've been around the block, the most rigorous entrepreneurship program in the country. The economic and social impact of our graduates can be felt across Indiana, the nation, and the globe. And tonight you'll hear from some of our presenting sponsors and award winners, all of which are alumni, and demonstrate this. Thanks to each one of you. I appreciate you coming out. Second, seniors, you are now alumni, and in some ways, the game has changed, and I now work for you. You are part of an extremely special community, made evident here tonight, a very special network of people that want to help you that have also been through this program. There are few students at Ball State or around the nation that are willing to take on the challenge of the entrepreneurship major, and even fewer accomplish it. A defining part of our program is the extremely high level of engagement from our alumni and our venture leaders. Most entrepreneurship programs in the nation teach about entrepreneurship. That's not what we do. We teach about doing entrepreneurship. Just this year, we had about 100 alumni and venture leaders engage with our program, whether they were mentors with our seniors, whether they came in and did guest lectures, whether we did site visits, or helped judge E-Day or winter warm-up. This level of engagement is not common around the country. And tonight, I'm asking for even more engagement, as you'll see from that engagement card at your table. Finally, and I know my seniors are ready to get on with this, I want to point to the most distinctive element of our program. The reason why this is the most challenging program in the country is because of a 30-year-old tradition called E-Day. Every graduate in this program has had to formulate a business plan and defend that business plan in front of a panel of alumni and business executives and all the assumptions that go along with it, whether it be their market research, their financials, or their forecasting. As most of you in this room know, not everyone passes this test, but the ones who do, I believe, are more prepared than any entrepreneurship major in the nation. This is why you, 2017 graduates, are so special, as well as all the alumni in the room. Now, you heard my introduction about this, but now we're going to hear how Dr. K, the founder of the program, one of his memories of E-Day, and then Crystal Geyer will introduce some of the graduates from this year's 2017 class.
In 1992, I believe, again, my memory, going back all the years, Tom went down to the presentation day on E-Day, and he failed. And I thought Tom worked really hard. I felt like, I watched him during the semester, and I felt, sometimes, when some people fail, they slough off, but in Tom's case, I didn't feel that way. So the next day, I always asked the students in those days to wait 2 days, then come see me. I wanted their anger to subside and about failing. And then I always felt that I would ask them 2 questions. I would always ask them, do you understand why you failed? Because if they didn't, I would explain it to them if they were too emotional. And number 2, what would you like to do? Would you like to come back to the program or take a different major? And I would say 90%, 95% came back and passed it the second time. It's always been great that way. Tom, I said to him, Tom, you're a little different. You're a little older. You worked hard. It didn't work out for you. How about if we do this? How about if I let you work on the business plan and clean up the errors, and then I'll reconvene a panel in late June. You can represent, and if they pass you, you can graduate in July. You don't have to wait the whole year. He looked at me and he said, Dr. K, I really appreciate you thought of me that way, but he said, I didn't come to Ball State University to take a back door. He said, I knew the ground rules going in. I didn't quite pass muster. I'll be back next year, and I'll do it the right way. And I said, oh, okay, Tom. I said, if that's the way you want it. And he said, but I do have one request. And I said, what's that? And he said, I would like you to never surface that idea again with anybody. Because the minute you give a back door, students are going to figure it out and always feel like if they sort of, convince you they worked hard, they'll get that extra month to work on the plan, and they'll graduate in July. And he said, the luster of the program is going to lose, and I don't want to be part of a losing effort. In the years that followed while I was there, I would tell every senior class that story to say, don't ask for any favors, because a person who had probably the most to gain from that favor turned it down on his own. We were on track to doing something very powerful, very special, and we were touching students deeper than maybe I even realized. And that really built, I think, validity to the whole program.
Hello. Thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Crystal Geyer, and it is my honor to recognize this year's graduating class. While I've only been with the Entrepreneurship Center since December, it didn't take me very long to realize how truly special our students are. It's been wonderful getting to know them over the past semester, and I'm pleased to see so many of you here to help us celebrate them. Before I introduce the students, I want to thank again everyone who's come together to help them on their journey. Thank you to their families for believing in them when they took on such a rigorous program, to their friends for the late night pep talks and support, to the faculty for educating them, reading and rereading business plans and holding pitch practice sessions, and to those of you who have served as judges, mentors, sounding boards, and more. It truly takes a village, and we are so grateful for your continued support. Without further ado, the class of 2017. Graduates, please join us on stage as I call your name. Olivia Bainfelt. Olivia is from Fremont, Indiana, and was recently recognized as one of the Miller College of Business Department of Management top scholars. Her business concept is Express Beauty, a traveling salon which partners with fitness centers to provide hair, makeup, and nail styling for today's professional women. Olivia would like to thank her family and the entrepreneurship faculty for all their support. Jace Crehan. Jace is from Muncie, Indiana, and was also one of the top scholars for the Department of Management. His business concept is Ion Homes, which is a home rehabilitation company focused on turning property in disrepair into habitable homes. Jace gives all credit to God and thanks his friends and family for being his support system. Patience Durbin. Patience is from Culver, Indiana. Her business concept is a fitness center focused on sustainability. VioFit will use machines that harness the energy generated during a workout and use that to power the building. She plans on launching VioFit in San Francisco. Patience thanks everyone who has supported her in her journey. Cole Justice. Cole is from McCordsville, Indiana. His business concept is Justice Lawn Care, which is a residential and commercial landscaping business. Justice Lawn Care is an active company currently serving the greater Fishers area under the official name of Precision Outdoor Management. Cole wants to thank his professors, his family, and his friends. John L. Kelly. John L. is from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Her business concept is Royale Curves, a subscription-based clothing company for plus-size women. Jonelle is most proud of her commitment to her family and her educational conquest. She's grateful to her grandmother for supporting her educational journey and is currently seeking employment in the Indianapolis area. Chad Stolting. Chad is from Lawrenceburg, Indiana. His business concept is Big Head Trophy, which aims to give all golf clubs and courses an option for awards that golfers can be proud of and display to their peers. Chad will be relocating to the greater Cincinnati area to serve as a general contractor in his family's business and to make Big Head Trophy a reality. Please join me again in a round of applause for this year's graduating seniors. It's now my pleasure to introduce Troy Harshman of Clean Cut Lawn and Landscape to announce the first of our outstanding venture plans.
Good evening. I'm honored to be here as a proud graduate of the Ball State Entrepreneurship Program, class of 1987. I'm also proud to be a member of the advisory board for the program and to have reviewed and judged dozens of business plans for future and current business leaders. So let's go back 34 years or so. That's when Michael Jordan was drafted third round in the NBA. Apple unveiled their first Macintosh personal computer. The way I got started in college and eventually the program at Ball State was somewhat non-traditional. I graduated high school here in Muncie and was really not sure what I wanted to do. I was working several jobs and making decent money for a kid right out of high school. And I remember my dad encouraging me. Well, he said, son, you'd be stupid if you didn't take advantage of the grant money that's available to you to go to school. It'll pay for your education. So I took his advice and enrolled at Ball State. Still not knowing what I really wanted to do, I wasn't particularly excited about getting back into school. I just got out. But I said, what the heck, I'll give it a shot. Well, as you might imagine, without much heart and interest in the effort, I didn't fare too well. As a matter of fact, my grades were pretty atrocious, and I didn't think I'd last past the first quarter, if that. But after the first quarter, I enrolled in a business elective class because I did have an interest in business, and frankly, it just sounded a little bit more exciting than those other classes I was taking. Little did I know, but my college life and entire personal life was about to change pretty dramatically for the better. That class was Management 241. I remember going into class, slouched down in my chair, waiting for another boring class to start, when all of a sudden, this young fireball professor walked in the room, started talking, writing stuff all over the board. I sat up. My ears perked up. I was engaged. Now I was listening. Now I was interested. That instructor was Dr. Don Karatko. From the very first class, my entire outlook changed, and a spark was lit thanks to Don's passion and his approach. It just clicked for me. My grades improved in all my classes, and I was hooked on the idea of owning my own business. 4 years later, I wrote a business plan for Clean Cut Lawn and Landscape as part of my graduation requirements for the program, and I walked across the stage at Emmons along with my fellow classmates. Now I was ready to tackle the world. I not only had my degree, but I had a plan. And maybe most importantly, I had a passion that Don helped me find. For that, I will be forever grateful. It is that passion that is carried over not only into my business, but my family today. Today, some 30 years later, my wife Mary and I have grown our business into one of the more successful landscape companies in the area. But for our family, we have a slightly different view and definition of the word success. We've done better than some financially, but for us, success is not about how much we've made or how much we've accumulated. We've tried to measure success by how can our business make our family stronger and allow us to impact our children and grandchildren in a positive way, to teach the way, to go and lead by example, to teach ethics, morals, and values. I never wanted to be the biggest company or become a millionaire, and for those of you who have that dream, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that approach. But for us, entrepreneurship has simply been a means to create quality of life and lasting values for our family and our employees and our community. Those are the things that I learned from this program at Ball State. At midpoint in my college career, I was going to school, working, getting married, and starting my family. Pretty busy for a student. Speaking of family, I'm proud to have mine here with me tonight. My wife, Mary, who was also my high school sweetheart, has been a part of Clean Cut from the very beginning. She was the one who actually typed my business plan. Yes, typed. My daughter, Lindsay, also a graduate from the Entrepreneurship program, works for Salesforce in Indianapolis, and her and her husband, Kyle, have blessed us with 3 beautiful grandsons. My daughter, Amanda, also a graduate from Ball State, has a degree in elementary education, taught at Selma for 3 years, and is now a stay-at-home mom. Her and her husband, Bobby, has blessed us with our adorable granddaughter. And my son, Adam, he graduated Ball State as well. His degree is international business and minor in entrepreneurship. He works for Earthwave Technology in Indianapolis and is here with his girlfriend, Maddie. We are proud of the legacy we have been able to pass down to our children and now their children. And to think, it was all sparked by a guy named Don, who made me stop and think. What if you could be your own boss instead of working for somebody else? Tonight's award winner, Kylie Mazer, is a senior entrepreneurship management major and a double minor in leadership studies and marketing. She's had many great experiences here at Ball State, including being a resident assistant, creating a service organization to benefit military personnel, and being Charlie Cardinal, as well as graduating from such a supportive and distinguished program. Her concept for her business plan is a product called Bend and Bright. It's a collapsible toothbrush that folds for hygienic storage. Her toothbrush also comes with 3 individual cartridges of toothpaste with 1 month's supply in each cartridge. With the press of a button, the dentist recommended amount of toothpaste dispenses through the bristles. Then by the end of the 3rd month, you know it's time to replace your toothbrush because you're out of toothpaste. Kylie has accepted a job at Ninja Zone in Carmel, Indiana, and she does plan to pursue this business plan today, Bend and Bright. Now, it is my pleasure and honor to introduce the winner of the Outstanding New Venture Plan, Kylie Mazer.
Good evening, and again, congratulations to all the seniors and graduates of this wonderful program. Also, congratulations to the parents. Give yourselves a round of applause, because you've put up with a lot of shit. I know. I gave my parents a lot. If you couldn't already tell, I'm probably going to say some shocking things, and those that know me expect it. Right, Robert, you young smartass? That'll come back to haunt me tonight, I'm sure. You're going to hear a lot of great speakers tonight. I think one of the most exciting things for me is just being with my friends, my fellow peers, new, old. Yeah, I'm one of the old, unfortunately, but young at heart. And I can't say enough about how proud I am of each and every one of you that have been a part of this program. One of the shocking things I am going to say, though, to the seniors is, guess what? It's no longer about you. You're going to hear tonight from some people that have some wonderful integrity. They give back. They give back to their university. They give back to their community. They give to their clientele to be as successful as they are. It's about that commitment. It's about that integrity that puts you here today. This opportunity, this degree, is an opportunity to learn. You have just begun. Congratulations, but never forget what made you successful tonight. The hard work, the commitment, the integrity, but more importantly, those that helped you get here. Don Crecco and his wife Debbie are a wonderful example of that. I could get emotional right now, but I've practiced this and I'm not going to, darn it. We all have a lot to be thankful for. Don and Debbie, thank you for your commitment. You've been a great mentor. I brag about you all the time. My only regret to the both of you is that my parents, my mentors, you two included, have taught me to work hard, work damn hard. And time is of the essence. God gives us only so much time. We don't know when that time will end. So make the most of it. Do it with love, with integrity, but don't forget the relationships. And Don and Debbie, I apologize for not being able to hang out with you once in a while, but doggone it, we'll do it. Might take another 10 years to get together, but we'll do it. So again, congratulations to all. Remember the integrity, the love, the commitment you've made. Speaking of commitment, Austin and Matt, I think I have that right, Austin? 2 partners. It's interesting. I don't know, the 2 award winners that I'm one that is here tonight, the other one is committed to his Ball State baseball game. But these 2 young men partnered in their business plan. And when I asked Austin, I said, did you have a second degree or anything, maybe just in case? I mean, you're putting your degree not only on the line, but you're sharing it with somebody else. And it's kind of funny. LML Estate Management, I have 2 partners in that business. I put it all on the line after college with 2 friends from elementary school. And ironically enough, we went to SCORE, Special Corps of Retired Executives, and presented another business plan, not the business plan I wrote in college, but the LML Estate Management plan that the 3 of us wrote together. And we were all 3 advised to not start the company. I was told specifically, you have 2 identical twins on either side of you, and you think that's going to work? It worked. The integrity, the work ethic, the respect for each other has afforded us the opportunity to create an industry that didn't exist, to meet a need, to exceed a need that wasn't there. Austin and Matt have worked hard. They've won an award. They created the need to work together and to understand they were putting it on the line. And I congratulate them for that. Austin wasn't sure what he was going to do. I think it was 4 or 5 different areas that he was going to study or degrees he was going to go for before he decided on the entrepreneurship program. I'm glad you did, Austin. You should be very proud. It's a unique program, and you are part of a fraternity that is like no other. Like Dr. Bott said, it's like no other. So welcome to the group, but never forget where you came from and always give back. Congratulations.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Jason Manship. I am a 2005 graduate of the program. And I'm excited to be here today to give back to something that gave so much to me. I recently participated in E-Day and had the opportunity to grade the 2 students that I also have the honor of presenting an award to tonight. But before I do that, I'm told I should share a few things about the program and about my personal journey that brought me here to the stage tonight. So today at lunch, I was discussing with a couple of buddies that I didn't really have anything specific to say. Something popped up in the conversation that they felt would be an interesting talking point, so that's what we came up with. So I feel obligated to share it at this point, and I call this story The 3 Donalds. Now, my wife isn't here. She's at a women's retreat in Illinois, which means I've also been playing the role of daddy duty. We have a 1.5-year-old and a 3-year-old at home. So this morning I was getting my 18-month-old ready, got him out of bed, and he refused to leave the room without his little stuffed Donald Duck. He had to have it. He wouldn't go anywhere without it. So in the moment, it really reminded me of how we hold on to things that give us comfort, how we need the basics to give us confidence, and importantly, how we as adults forget about the simple things that once were the only thing that we really ever cared about. My kids remind me every day why I do what I do. And because of our relative success, my wife is able to stay at home with Ruby and Simon. And I get to focus on what I'm uniquely gifted to do, what I went to Ball State to learn, and really why I'm here today. I chose Ball State because I dreamed at a young age of becoming an empire builder. Which brings me to the second Donald in this story. In June of 2016, I got a phone call from San Antonio, Texas. 3 days later, I was leaving my wife and kids at home and moving there for a short period of time for a fairly high-profile job. Now, before I get into the details of what I took on, I need to say that I've never actually talked about this publicly. I've been ducking reporters from national publications about this, and so I do have a little bit of nerves sharing it with you guys, but as a trusted group of people that have been through hell together, I feel like I can share this story, as hopefully it might inspire some of you to take some risks that you might not normally take. And so yes, the second Donald, many of you know him as the Donald. He likes to put his last name on buildings in big gold letters. Recently moved into 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The call I got was from a guy named Brad Parscale. He wanted me to move to San Antonio and work in a secret bunker there to help get the second Donald from this story elected as President of the United States. So after intense prayer and conversation with my wife, we decided it was a good thing to do, and I moved down there. My role was to help them in this secret bunker in the middle of Texas. We had about 100 people that worked there. We were his creative team, his data team, his tech team, his web team. Literally, if it was online, we did it. With the exception of his Twitter account, he did that all by himself. I moved down there to be the number 2 to this guy, Brad Parscale, and help him. 2 weeks after I got there, he got called away to Trump Tower and spent the rest of the election there. So I was managing a 100-person team that ran data operations, web, social media, everything else in this little bunker in San Antonio, Texas. Nondescript building no one would ever imagine. I ended up becoming, through the process, the chief technology officer for the campaign. I dealt directly with Mr. Trump, with Steve Bannon, with Reince Priebus, with Sean Spicer, Ivanka, Jared, the whole rest of the crew. I know for many of you that probably gives you chills in a bad way, but it was a crazy experience, and let me elaborate. So I dealt directly with the top folks at Facebook and Google and Snapchat. One of my craziest memories was a direct argument we had with the CEO of a small microblogging service called Twitter. Jack Dorsey and I do not see eye to eye, as it turns out. But regardless of the politics, the opportunity to be the CTO for a presidential campaign was the biggest and craziest work experience of my entire life. We were running a startup that raised and spent just shy of $1 billion in 6 months. That's bigger and faster than any other startup in history, to my knowledge. It was a crazy experience. And it all happened because I was willing to take a risk, a big, hairy, audacious risk. Which brings me to the third Donald in this story, Donald Karatko. Sorry that I included you in a story with Donald Duck and Donald Trump, but I felt it important to bring it all together. When I was a young lad, I knew I wanted to be an empire builder. And when it came time to explore colleges, I looked all over. I visited Stanford, visited Berkeley, visited Wharton, Georgetown, ultimately chose Ball State. And the reason for that, which Dr. Bott mentioned earlier, was Donald Karatko. He built a program that was much more than academics. It captured the essence of risk. And frankly, I mean, other programs at Ivy League schools were more superior on the academic side. But not a single one of them offered spine sweat. Kudos to Dr. Karatko for the idea and the implementation. And kudos to the university for continuing to carry on that tradition. And as the program continues to evolve, I'm glad to see so many of my fellow alumni here. Congratulations to the graduating class. I'm humbled by the opportunity to share the stage with a former classmate, Kate. We graduated together, and for the vision of Dr. Karatko. I've lost touch with the program as I work to build my own personal empire, but I was excited about the opportunity when Dr. Marvel called and asked me to participate in E-Day this year. When I received the plans, I was a bit concerned. One of the plans was a restaurant, a ramen noodle restaurant. And when I was in school, we couldn't even do a business plan on restaurants or bars because they were so likely to fail. I was concerned it wasn't going to go well for these guys. But boy, did they impress. Max and Daniel had done their research. They knew every answer to every question, down to the decimal. They even knew what they didn't know, which is a rare trait for a lot of seasoned folks in the business world. And they had a plan figured out to fill all the gaps of what they didn't have right at the ready. Max has been cooking since he was 12. Daniel minored in professional selling. They both want to follow their passion and own a restaurant someday. And I think a few years of experience under their belts, they should definitely do just that. My only advice to them during E-Day was to think bigger. Instead of a ramen noodle restaurant in the village, to follow the footsteps of Scotty Wise. Build an empire. So I'm here today as a sponsor. I co-founded a catering company in 2013. That year we did $30,000 in total sales. Last year we did just north of $3 million in sales. Pretty good trajectory for 3 years. Nameless is the fastest growing catering company in Indiana, and our success is largely attributed to our ability to take risks. So as I present this award to you guys tonight, you guys can come on up, I also want to offer you something a little more tangible, jobs. I want to see you guys follow your dream to become restaurateurs. The next step in that journey should be to go to work with someone that's willing to invest in you. My business partner, Jeremy Brown from Nameless, is building something magical. And if you're open to it, I'd love to see you guys come grow with us for 24 months. And you know, if you're as good as your business plan suggests you are, I think you'll have a couple of investors lined up to invest in you when it comes time to run your own thing. So congratulations, you deserve the award, and I hope we have a chance to work together.
Good evening. I'm honored to be here tonight as a 93 grad of this awesome program. And my name is Jim Stratman. I'm the founder and CEO of Enviroplast Incorporated in Evansville, Indiana. And we are a custom compounder of engineering thermoplastic resins. So we manufacture product excuse me, that's sold to injection molding companies to make automotive parts, aircraft, medical, things like that. I'd like to thank this program for the reason I'm here today and the success that I've enjoyed in my life. I'd like to thank my lovely wife of 14 years, Ingrid Stratman. We have 4 wonderful children, and I'd also like to mention my parents for instilling an awesome work ethic. And I think my advice to students, you've got the tools to succeed through the program, and I think that there's no way around hard work, and I've learned that the hard way. I think that's the other piece of the puzzle, and I encourage you to chase dreams and get out there and make it happen. So I want to share a little bit of my story of how this mess got started for me. It happened within walking distance of this facility right here at a place called, back in 1990, at a place called Ironworks Gym. And I came to Ball State originally to play college football. And I connected with another gentleman on the powerlifting team, and we were training for powerlifting nationals. And incidentally, this gentleman was a year ahead of me, but was in the entrepreneurship program. I knew nothing about it. And we're at Ironworks Gym, and lo and behold, there's a gentleman over in the corner making a lot of noise, throwing a lot of weight around. And I thought, man, who is that guy? And Chris Nabalski was my partner's name, and he said, well, that's Dr. K. And he goes, you got to meet this guy. So he introduces him to me this is I believe on a Thursday or Friday. He introduces me to Dr. K. We have a great conversation in the gym. Monday morning, I've got a 7 o'clock meeting with Dr. K, and I'll cut to the chase. I come out of his office, and I wanted to rip the building down. I was so fired up. So that's my story about where this thing started. The bad news for me is I was starting my sophomore year. So not only did I have to go home and tell my father that I was going to risk everything and may not graduate, but it was going to take me 5 years to get through the program, or to get to graduate. So it's quite a sacrifice. Worked out well. I won't go into much about my business as far as what's happened, but I can tell you I took my first job in a plastics company down in Houston, Texas. And the company was dormant but active. And one of the contacts that I made while writing the business plan happened to be a farmer up here in Anderson, Indiana, and won a scrap contract at the Fisher Guide plant in Anderson. And he calls me in Texas and says, "Jim, I've won this contract. I don't know what I'm going to do." So I flew up here on Southwest, tried to figure it out. I brought this Discover card. It's a Discover card that I was approved for at TIS Bookstore in 1990. Still have it today. And so I bought the first 3 truckloads of our material on this Discover card, and I sold it to the Asians for cash, and that's how I started the business. So today, we are, this is our 24th year of business. We've got 72 families that we look after. They're 72 employees, and we'll do about $36 million in revenue this year. So from this to $36 million. So we're proud of that, and it's all because of the support I get from my family and this program. I promised I wouldn't get choked up here. So. Last thing I want to say, it's about the students. And one of the things that I remember, and the gentleman was talking about his first day in Dr. K's class, and I show up and I remember it was either the first or second class, 2 things that I still live by today that he said. He said that if you will help people get what they want, you will get what you want. And to tie a little bit of that a little bit further, he said, I believe in the same class that day, to chase your dreams, but to do it for the right reasons. And if you do it for the right reasons, the money will come. It's perfect. It works out that way. It's natural, and great things will happen. And we're on our way to world class, and it's all because of the advice of that. So if you can work hard, chase your dreams, concentrate on what you're passionate about, because that's what you'll be best at, I promise you'll get world-class results. So today I'm here to present the Outstanding Alumni Award to Kate Indris-Dirksen, and I want to say a little bit personal about Kate. I don't think she's aware of this, but I've got a little bit of a personal connection. I actually am friends with one of her high school basketball coaches. And every time I see him, that's all I hear about is Kate. So he knows that I know Kate, so I hear about it all the time. Big fan. And I've been able to kind of track Kate's success. I had the pleasure of meeting her father at a bank event in Evansville. We happen to be from the same hometown, Evansville, Indiana. And she went to a rival high school of mine, so here I am as a modern-day grad presenting to a Memorial grad, so how about that? So anyway, and then also, the last but not least, I happened to be the evaluator on the plan, on her new venture plan, when she presented her plan. So I was a little bit disappointed I didn't have much to challenge her on, but it was an awesome plan by all means. Kate Indris-Dirksen is an athlete turned investor turned technology entrepreneur. Kate is currently the CEO and co-founder of Ditto, a technology startup that builds and licenses patented 3D virtual try-on and frame recommendation technology for eyewear, and operates an e-commerce site where you can rent designer eyewear for a monthly fee and swap for new pairs at any time. Ditto has raised $15 million and currently employs over 65 people with offices in San Francisco, Seattle, and Evansville, Indiana. Prior to Ditto, Kate graduated with her MBA at Stanford Graduate School of Business in 2011. Prior to business school, Kate worked in private equity for WinPoint Partners and is a survivor of a 2-year stint on Wall Street working with Citi's Mergers and Acquisitions Group. Kate holds a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship from Ball State University, where she graduated summa cum laude and played Division I basketball here at Ball State for 4 years. She was the first 3-year captain in Ball State women's basketball history. Ball State was ranked in the top 25 for 2 of the 4 years that she played. In her senior year, Kate received the Mid-America Conference Women's Player of the Year, Indiana's NCAA Woman of the Year Award, and received All-American status before being drafted by the WNBA, the team, the Connecticut Suns. Kate was also named the ESPN magazine's Academic All-American Player of the Year in 2005, and she ranks second in career points and three-pointers on Ball State's all-time list. Her 1,843 points and 663 rebounds makes her one of only 3 players, male or female, in Ball State annuals to surpass the 1,800 point mark and the 600 rebound milestone in a career. Kate was inducted into the Ball State University Hall of Fame in January of 2015. She's from Evansville, Indiana, but she currently resides in Oakland, California with her husband, Chris, and new baby girl, Grace. Ladies and gentlemen, Kate Indris Dirksen.
Thank you guys so much. This is such an honor, and I can tell you it's so great to be back in Muncie. It's been a while since I've been back, but I step back on campus and I get all the same warm fuzzies that I felt when I went here. I made great friendships while I was here, some of which I'm reconnecting with tonight, and it's definitely suffice it to say I'm a very proud Cardinal. I remember when I first came to Ball State, I originally wanted to be an architect, and I learned about that class schedule, and my basketball coach essentially said, that's not happening. Like, we have practice every day during that time. And so I was like, I have to choose a whole new career. And that's when I met Don Greco. And I was undecided, but I knew I loved building things. And he sat down with me for almost 2 hours during my orientation, and he sold me hard. And I just realized there's something special in the air with him, with this program, and I needed to be a part of that. And essentially, I owe my entire career since then to Dr. K's charm. So thank you. As my mom sitting here, and who was nice enough to drive up from Evansville, can attest, I've never been one who really loved authority. And so I really connected with that be your own boss, like you get to decide mantra. And that really resonated with me. I think the other thing is I like doing stuff. And I struggled in classes where I had to sit and listen for hour on hour. That's not how I learn. I learned by doing. And so it just connected, it just clicked. And I've known really since I was 18 what I was born to do. And that was to start businesses, start companies, think about new things. And I think specifically, I like building new things for the world. And I realized even during my senior project, which was to build an online recruiting platform for college sports, and to do that, we needed to figure out how to upload huge amounts of game footage, which now seems trivial. But back in 2005, that was challenging. And so I spent a lot of my time figuring out, how am I going to crack this nut of how to upload a 60-minute film to the internet? And it just was something I was passionate about. And I realized, where else could tech change the game? And after 4 years in finance, and truthfully, after my WNBA career ended, and I moved to New York, I was thinking of the next business. I knew I was going to do it. And I had an opportunity in New York to work with a bunch of retail companies. And I remember doing mergers and acquisitions, and one of my clients was J. Crew, the retailer. And I started working on that business and realizing, God, retail's hard. They don't make any money at the end of the day, and you kind of go through the whys of why that's true. And like most businesses, it starts with a very simple idea, which is, I wonder how technology is fundamentally going to change retail in the next 20 years. And it became interesting, and I kept following that lead on to the next conversation, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And so that really led me to start my current company, which is a company called Ditto. We build augmented reality software so you can virtually try things on. And the bigger idea here is to change the way you buy things. Returns are a huge problem for retailers. We're doing glasses now. I absolutely have aspirations to do clothes, which is a very challenging technical problem, but I think what resonates about it to me is that there's a real pain point there. It's something that makes sense to me as a problem, and the solution makes sense to me too. So I'm really inspired to try to tackle something. And I'm really proud of what we've been able to build. Some of the things I'm proud of are not the money that we've raised so much as kind of what we've come through. We've been doing Ditto for 6.5 years. 4 of those years we were embroiled into a really nasty IP lawsuit. A competitor went out and bought a patent from a defunct company to take us out. And we had an opportunity to sell the business, and we fought. And that path has been so interesting, but maybe I should talk to Jason Manship, because I got some ideas on patent reform maybe you could talk to your friend Mr. Trump about. But I'm so proud of what we built. We have 4 patents, we got 11 pending. We're the first in the world to build 3D try-on technology that's web-based and works anywhere. We're a lot more global than I thought we would be, and that's partially because for a while we couldn't get any deals in the United States because of the patent lawsuits. So we have clients in Tokyo and India and all over Europe, and that's been exciting and challenging in its own ways. And I think probably the thing I'm most proud of, and you've heard it here tonight, and I think it's probably the mark of people who really love entrepreneurship, but we have 65 employees, and I'm so proud that they love their job. Like, that's what it's all about. So, I was asked to give advice. This is not a room that needs advice, but I will say there were a couple things as I reflected back on how I got here that I think were important, so I will share those. One, if you get a hiccup, use it as fuel. For me, my junior year of high school, I broke my back, and I was actually committed to go to Notre Dame, and they rescinded my scholarship. And that fuel has never left me. It's the chip on my shoulder that, like, when things get tough, there's not even a chance I'm giving up. So that's important. I think that the second thing is do as Don did. He sat down with me for 2 hours, and he sold me hard. And I saw his vision by the time that I left that. And if I see an employee that we need, an engineer that we have to get, I cultivate them. I sit down with them. I make them see what I see. And I make them feel my passion. And I make them believe. And I think one thing that I saw here at this program is if you show that, they will follow. And I think I'm starting to see that out in my neck of the woods too. And lastly, these things are marathons. You don't start businesses, most people don't start businesses and flip them in 2 to 3 years. These are careers. So you do have to take care of yourself. You do have to make sure your relationships stay healthy. You have to make sure you stay healthy. You have to make sure the anxiety doesn't just eat your lunch at night. Like, you really have to take care of those relationships, because at the end of the game, that's all it is. So I just wanted to circle it back. This is a huge honor for me. I'm speechless to be honored in the same night as Dr. K, who was really the reason for my entire career. So thank you, Ball State. Thank you.
I asked to present this next award, the Pay It Forward Award. We'll get it out here. To Robert Hacker. Robert has been a great friend of the program and a great friend of myself. As a short introduction, Robert started his first business at the age of 14 with a friend. It was Trick's Skate Shop. So it may surprise some people that Robert used to shred. So, yeah. After earning his degree from the entrepreneurship program at Ball State in 1996, Robert and his wife Shanna launched Triphase Technologies, which was based upon his award-winning business plan. He was a new venture plan winner. Triphase specializes in audio, video, IT, automation, security, and interior design in both the residential and commercial applications. It's about 20 years later since Robert did his business plan in the program, and Triphase has grown to one of the largest electronic integration companies in the nation. They employ more than 50 people, including some of our graduates. Thank you, Robert. They had revenue over last year of a little over $10 million. I have to admit, when I first learned about Robert, when I became director of the entrepreneurship program, I was excited because I knew he did home theater stuff. And I happened to have a crackling speaker in my basement home theater. And I thought, this is going to be perfect. I'm going to recruit Robert over to my house and help fix his speaker. And as I tried to convince him this was a good idea, he gently suggested that I come by his showroom and maybe we do lunch as an alternative. And when I went to visit Robert's showroom, I quickly realized that I am not the target customer nor in the target market. Some of Robert's clients include the most famous people in the world, and apparently that's not Matt Marvel. These include professional athletes, musicians, race car drivers, authors, and many members of the Forbes Wealthiest 400 People. Robert has been selfless with the program. He has been a mentor to many students, some of you in this room. He has judged winter warm-up. He has judged E-Day. He has come and talked to classes. And just this last semester, Robert hosted the entire senior class at Triphase Technologies for a site visit. And I will add that he graciously picked up lunch as well for the class at another Ball State alumni, Matt Frybub's Burgers. Thank you very much for that, Robert. I appreciate Robert's success and his willingness to give back. And I'm excited to announce that Triphase Technologies is gifting the entrepreneurship program a new Triphase Tech Lab, which will be the premier workspace in the College of Business. It'll be a presentation and workspace, and I hope to have a few of you in this room next year to engage in the Triphase Tech Lab. Please note that engagement card at your table. Robert, thank you very much. Please come up here and let's get you this Pay It Forward award.
Unlike Scott Morris, I am not a professional pitchman. Bear with me, public speaking is not my specialty, but I'm going to give it my best shot. On the way over here, my wife and backseat driver encouraged me not to be dry, not to say and to deliver something that wouldn't be in a textbook. So here you go. My first memory of Dr. K, I saw this short, about my height, but strong man in the weight room. Socks pulled up to his knees, short shorts, I think maybe even a headband, with a towel on. He's laying on the bench with a towel on his chest. And this guy is throwing up 300 pounds. And for any of you weightlifters out there, that's a lot of weight, 300 or something. And it wasn't just once, but it was like 6, 8, 10 times. And I thought, geez, who is this guy? Well, fast forward a couple years. That guy was my professor. That guy was the creator of the entrepreneurship program. That guy was Dr. K, who had the same energy in the classroom as he did in the weight room.
I remember being on the edge of my seat in class with Dr. K. I think it was the earliest class possible. I don't know, maybe 7:30 or so. And I loved that class. I learned so much from you. Thank you, Dr. K. Does somebody need to pound on your back? Yeah, thought you were choking over there. In life, teachers, professors, coaches, ministers, all have the ability to make or break a situation. In my case, Dr. K was my mentor and inspiration that gave me the burning desire to launch my business plan and to never look back. Entrepreneurship has created an amazing life for myself and my family. Been able to do some amazing things and go some amazing places, but also work with some amazing people. So thank you, Dr. K, for giving me the experience I'll never forget. I would next like to thank my wife and my family. Without my wife, I'm sure that I would not be standing here today. Thank you, sweetie. Thanks to all of the alumni who have continued to support the program, who have spent countless hours helping students, organizing events, and helping keep this program to the highest standards. I'm also proud of the current leadership, Dr. Marvel, Dr. Jen Bott, and all of the staff that do what you do on a daily basis. They are continuing, Dr. K, to blaze trails, as you often said, and to look forward to, and I look forward to what the future holds. I have had the opportunity to help and mentor some students along the way. And I'd like to mention a couple that come to light. Dustin Oberlin, which I believe was a 2005 graduate. I had the opportunity to work with him. He was a smart young man. Well, he started a business in Fort Wayne called Red Fly Technologies. It's actually a very similar competing business to ours. And Dustin, I wish you the best of luck, but you better pack a lunch if you move to Carmel, Indiana. The next would be Tony Lazaro. He's a 2013 grad, and his plan was to build a high-level or a high-end steakhouse, something different, something downtown, Carmel, multi-level, open roof bar, all of that. And I thought, wow, this is one sharp young man, and boy, this is a pretty tall feat. And I asked him, I said, are you planning on starting this business? And he looked at me very confidently and said, yeah, I plan on starting this. And I thought, wow, okay, well, I hope that happens. Well, just a few short, 2 to 3 years later, he has now launched his plan in Carmel, Indiana. They've cleared the entire city block, under construction now. This is going to be an amazing facility. He is a very sharp young man, and I am proud to say that Triphase is his technology provider. So we plan on eating lots of steaks there, Tony. Where are you, Tony? Tony here? No? Okay. A little bit about our business. After graduating in '96, I launched my business with my fiance, now wife, in 1997. Triphase Technologies is an electronic integration company. We specialize in audio, video, IT, security, and interior design for high-end residential and commercial applications. Our primary focus is in the Midwest, but we do projects around the country. We've met some amazing people along the way. We've worked on some amazing projects, and very proud of. As Matt mentioned, we have approximately 50 employees and growing. Wanted to mention a little bit about the Triphase Tech Center. That is a contribution back to the program that we feel is an investment well spent. This is going to be a room that is going to provide cutting-edge technology, a very creative space for our students, specifically entrepreneur students, to create, to collaborate, and to interact with technology. It's currently just about to start construction, and I hope all of you get to experience that. And lastly, advice to the students. First of all, congratulations to the students. I know you've heard that, but I'm sure you don't get tired of that either. You are now part of a club that I think will pay dividends for many years to come. I would say, for absolutely, dream big. Sometimes a small idea can turn into bigger than you ever imagined. Also, find a career or start a business that you enjoy, that you absolutely love doing, that gets you out of bed in the morning. I didn't realize this until many years after starting our company, that not many people in this world enjoy what they do. Matter of fact, most people cannot stand getting out of bed and doing what they do. So, as Dr. K always said, give people what they want, in return you'll get what you want, and everything else will follow. And then lastly, surround yourself with positive thinking people. Positive thinking can lead to some of the most amazing things. So, again, thank you very much. This is an amazing night, and proud to be part of it.
I'd like to welcome up Matt Rutherford, but before Matt comes up to introduce Don, we have a short video clip to play.
I don't think it's that hard to name. Like, everybody calls him K, but it's phonetically pronounced just like it's spelled.
Karatko.
Karatko. Karatko.
Karatko.
It's not like it's Shashesky or something.
Karatko.
Karat. Cute ratty.
I think Karatko works pretty well. I'm not sure why we struggle with that so much.
When you first meet Dr. K, I think everybody agrees that he's kind of like this little dynamo.
The first class that I had with him was an 8 o'clock in the morning class, and we're all dragging in there in the morning. It's 8, and he'd been up since 5. He was working out and come in there just a ball of fury, and got everybody fired up right out of the get-go.
He was proud of his exercise abilities as well, to stay in shape. He'd work out quite regularly. To this day, I'm sure, Don, that you use this towel, and no matter what you say, doing 310 pounds, but only coming, since you're vertically challenged even more so than I am, your arms are shorter than me, and I just want to kind of remind you of that story where I know you got 310 with the bench press, but you only moved it about 3 inches. My 310 was all the way down and all the way back.
So our class was short on printers and computers and stuff, and we actually kind of snuck into the business school overnight when we weren't supposed to be there and hijacked a room. I'm not sure he's still aware that we were actually in that room printing off and kind of cramming for our business plans to be done.
At least 2 or 3 times a year, I have a vivid dream of going to present my plan and I'm not ready and it's a total disaster. 17 years from when I presented that plan, I still have dreams about not being ready for that day.
It's almost like being part of the military or something. You went through something really intense together. Students come and take one look at what you have to do to get through this program, and they go, I think I'll just take a management degree instead.
I saw a picture of him today. He doesn't look like he aged any, except maybe the hair. I mean, I've put on 3 generations in the time. He looks like he went from a freshman to a senior.
His perfect haircut. He always had perfect hair.
Who is this guy?
How you doing? I'm Matt. I'm a professor, and apparently I'm here because I won a radio contest. The people that have been here speaking tonight have just been unbelievable. As a graduate of the program, to see the presenters and the students, just wow. I mean, the pride that I have in the program is amazing. And to the graduates, we have a bond now. We went through the spine sweating experience. And I will tell you, in all seriousness, as a middle-aged man, now I've done some things, right? I have a PhD, I've raised a family, I've started businesses. This program is one of the hardest things I've ever done. Top 3, probably, in that list. So it gets easier, right, from here. If you've done that, you can do a lot. So what can I tell you about Don that hasn't been said? Actually, a lot. I know Don in an entirely different way than you know him, because I made the far less lucrative choice after the spine sweating experience. I became a professor. And so Don wrote all of my letters to my master's program and then to my doctoral program. And now I am the doctoral coordinator at Oklahoma State University. So Don has been with me, I see him at least once a year, possibly more. And what I think about in my career, when I get up every day, loving what I do, the fact that I get to research and teach entrepreneurship like Don every day of my life. Not as well as he does, obviously. No one can. But I still get to do it. And the one thing you don't know about Don is he's passionate about entrepreneurs. He's an innovator. He's a great teacher. He loves academic entrepreneurship. And he knew that for this to continue, we must have a place for people to study, research, and to be able to get PhDs in entrepreneurship. That didn't exist in 1993. It was nowhere on the radar. I don't even know if Don could have believed it at that time. He probably could have, I don't know. But now it does. And because, and I'm not just saying this, because of Don, and a few friends, but Don led this charge. And so now we have doctoral programs in entrepreneurship. I'm the coordinator of one of them. And the really cool thing about tonight, I hope it gives Don some pride. We can come full circle because sitting at the table over here, table 1, is Imran Sayed, an assistant professor at Ball State University. Imran was my student at Oklahoma State University. And I was able to train him based on the skills I learned from Dr. Karaka. He can now train future entrepreneurship graduates at Ball State University. And for me, that gives me about as much pride as I could possibly have. So Don, it gives me a ton of pleasure tonight to stand up here. And I think we have one more video, but you're my man.
Well, I would give him a gigantic hug. I would start there.
Thank you a million times over. Not only for the great success he's been able to give me in my own career and in my husband's business, but also a big thank you for just knowing him.
I would just like to congratulate him on his success. Obviously, he's developed an outstanding program, continues that to this day. I think it's definitely changed me and benefited in my career professionally, as well as also development from a personal standpoint. And wish him all the best.
Just a huge, huge thank you, because I do think he changed the course of my life.
Thank you for creating the program, allowing me to be a part of the program, for believing in me, for helping me get through the program and graduate.
You'll always remember the ones that cared about you as an individual, and Dr. K is one of those.
When you get to be in your 50s and you look back, you recognize that maybe a handful of people really influenced you in a big way in your life. Dr. K is probably on that short list.
And he made the students know that he cared about their well-being. He wasn't just trying to sell the entrepreneurship program, he was trying to help you grow as an individual and as a student.
Because once you were a part of the entrepreneurship program, you were a part of his family. He really took you in, made sure that you were going to succeed.
He made a huge impact on my life, my business career. Thank you for showing me how to ignite that fire, within and to keep moving ahead and succeeding.
I feel like that this major and Dr. Kratko's influences has helped me become, the person that I am, and I'm eternally grateful.
Graduating with the degree, winning winning an award for the outstanding business plan. And it was hard work. I'll never forget that moment when he gave me that. And it was, a proud moment, and it was the start of, a good life, a very good life.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. Well, can you see me? They build these podiums for tall people, not for me. First of all, I'd like to thank President King for being here tonight and all the support that you've done, not only for this program, but for the university. In your years, you've helped elevate this university to even a higher status than maybe a lot of us even dreamed. So my congratulations to you and all the work you put in. To Dean Jen Bott, where's Jen? Where are you sitting, Jen? Pretty amazing. Congrats to you as well. You've done some amazing things, and aspired to positions that when I first met you, I thought, wow, this girl's a ball of fire, but I had no idea you're going to keep rising to be the dean. So I think Ball State and the Miller College is really, I think, fortunate to have you as their dean. So my congrats to you. And I did not leave because of you. I just want you to know I was not. I also want to mention, since Kate was up here, congratulations to Kate, well-deserved award. I was telling her tonight that I was really worried that, I worked so hard to recruit her because her coach, Brenda Fries, who recruited her here, left her to go to the University of Minnesota. And then, of course, went on to the University of Maryland. If any of you follow women's basketball, she's been a superstar coach at the University of Maryland, winning one national title and a couple of Final Fours, and she's just been incredible. And the following year, I leave. So I always had this guilt that, Kate was getting left by all the people that recruited her and believed in her. So, so I contacted her when she was in New York and thinking about an MBA. Do you remember? Yes, an MBA. Do you remember this? And I said, yeah, I think about the Kelly School. I'd love to have you come to the Kelly School and get your MBA. She goes, oh, wow, that's, And I'm sure in her mind she's thinking, no, the little devil will probably leave again. But she went to this little school called Stanford on the West Coast. But I'm very proud of you and what you've accomplished and what you did there. And I was telling her tonight that she didn't know this, but when she first was doing some of her pitches of Ditto, she pitched at an incubator out in Silicon Valley called Plug and Play Tech Center. And I've got a West Coast advisory board of 18 members, so I'm out in the Valley about 4 times a year, and we have a partnership with Plug and Play that Kate would not have known about. And the day she was pitching, I looked on the program because I was flying out there, and I thought, oh man, Kate's I'm gonna surprise her when she's done, and exciting. I was speaking in the afternoon, so I thought I'll just wait because I got this big reception planned, and I'll just go up and surprise her. So I get up and I did my talk, and then when I got finished, I go to the reception, I said, where's Kate Endress? And they said, she had to go. She left right for her pitch. She had to go back to study for a test over at Stanford. So I was so disappointed that I didn't get to see her back then. So, but I was there and I saw you. So anyway, but now we have plans to hook up, so it's going to be great. A lot of people to thank, obviously. Could probably spend all evening, and I do want to get to the 2017 graduates. I don't want you sitting there thinking, what a boring night to listen to the old guy up there. First to my wife, Debbie. My wife, we're now in our 38th year of marriage. We raised 2 beautiful daughters, and like so many people, so many of my grads have said, couldn't have done without you, dear. There's no question, so thank you. Also, when I first came to Ball State, I guess I was this ball of fire. I don't think I knew much else. But some people had to sort of get me under control. So tonight, Dr. Tom Harris is here. Dr. Tom, where are you? Would you stand, please? There's Dr. Tom right over there. And Dr. Ray Montagno. Ray, would you stand? These two guys took me under their wing, knew I was a little bit crazy, I think. And under their mentorship and guidance, they kind of corralled me in a little bit and showed me the ways of academia, which I don't think I would have succeeded at all without you guys. So I just want you to know how appreciative I am of not only those days, but of our friendship that developed over the years. And we became very, very close friends. And that's always been special to me, which is what made Ball State special. Kate alluded to that. Ball State is a place where, relationships are made and they're solid. You've heard it from all of my grads that came up here. It's pretty special. And I'd also like to recognize, because in the later years, as we got the program really rolling and we started to grow, I had to get an administrative assistant that would be someone who believed in the program and in me, I guess. And so that was Maggie Ailes. Maggie's here tonight. Maggie, would you stand with her husband, Mike? And I said this for a number of years, and she knows that she really became the soul of the program. And the students of that era that remember Maggie know that. She was really awful special, because there were times I thought she believed in it more than I did sometimes. So she was pretty amazing and certainly kept me on track. So I will forever be indebted to her without question. One of the reasons this program is special, I think, as I see it here now, tonight, is the leadership that has come after me. A lot of people made this comment, boy, you're going to leave Ball State, you're going to Indiana, Ball State's going to fall apart. And that just really kind of irked me, because I thought, well, if that's all I did, it's going to fall apart, then what's the point? Well, I guess we didn't make any indelible mark. And yet the leadership, back before I ever left, years before I left, we recruited Dr. Mike Goldsby. And there's Dr. Goldsby here, if he would stand. And he knows that I recruited him hard. He had offers from other schools, and much like Dean Bott was telling you, I recruited Mike really hard, because I felt like I saw a lot of passion in him. I saw, kind of future in him, and I'm proud to say I was right. And Dr. Goldsby is now the Chief Entrepreneurship Officer for the whole university. So, I thank you for that leadership. And of course, Rob Matthews, where's Rob? Is Rob here tonight too? I saw Rob earlier, there's Rob. Soon to be Dr. Matthews, which I'm very proud of, and has really been so loyal to this program since graduating and getting his degrees here and now finishing his doctorate, and still, teaching in leadership roles here. So, my compliments, Rob, and I know Ball State's in great hands. And finally, Dr. Matt Marvel, who you saw up here tonight, who's our most recent leader of the program, and I think Ball State is very, very fortunate to have recruited him, and Dr. Goldsby was instrumental in getting Matt here. And I was really excited. Matt was at the University of West Virginia at the time. He gave me a call, said, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Ball State, because you kind of made a name there. And he said, do you think I should make a move there? We're thinking about leaving West Virginia. Might not be good for our family. We'd like to maybe come back to the Midwest. And I said, oh, yeah. I said, that'd be awesome. If Ball State gets you, Matt, that's going to be fantastic. And once again, I feel I was right. They've got a tremendous leader. And as Matt has said to you over and over tonight, and I will reiterate it, don't forget the engagement cards, okay? Because Matt's serious. Matt really wants this program to not just survive, he wants it to grow. And so Matt's got me as a believer. And so I really would encourage all the alums, all the professionals in the community, support Dr. Marvel, because if we were able to, myself and Mike and Dr. Hornsby, who can't be here tonight, if we were able to get this program to a certain level, I can assure you Dr. Marvel will take it to even greater heights. And I truly believe that. So thank you, Matt, for a special night, and thank you to your whole staff, Crystal and Karen, everybody else that has done just a phenomenal job. This is just amazing to me. And that figure, boy, that's just incredible on the wall. Who is that shadow? I asked Matt, I said, what do you want me to say tonight? And he said, well, maybe recount some of the memories of the program. So I thought about that, and I have so many grads here tonight that I'm so tight with, and I'm so moved by what they've said. Sometimes you don't realize when your young professor that you really are having impact on lives. So it was, gratifying to hear tonight. But so I said to my wife, Debbie, I said, I don't know what even like this year's class wants to hear. They don't want to hear a bunch of old stories, And then I thought, well, maybe you would like to hear about how the program actually got started. I mean, everybody's giving me a lot of credit, acting like, man, this guy was a genius. Came into Ball State and had this vision. He was going to start this whole program. It wasn't like that exactly. I mean, I came in hoping I'd start a few courses, we'd get something kind of going in this new area called entrepreneurship. Back then it was called small business management. Dr. Tom and Dr. Ray remember. And so it was really just this emerging area that was really sort of laughed at by most universities. I mean, business education was about the big companies. It wasn't about small companies. And that just irked me. I grew up in Chicago. My father was an entrepreneur. I just felt like, well, why are we educating for sort of that? And I thought there'd be maybe a group, like a generation of students that would kind of believe that and want to learn about the smaller ventures. So that's how it really started. And at Ball State, they were very gracious to say, yeah, create a couple of courses. I think they felt the little guy won't be around long, so let him do what he wants for a few years, and then we'll just get rid of him. He'll never make tenure here. What's he going to publish? Nobody believes in this stuff anyway, so he won't be around. Surprise! But anyway, so the truth of how Spine Sweat got started, I thought you'd find this interesting in the class of 2017. A lot of my alums know the story. But my second year here, my father had said to me when I went off into academia, he said, it's great that you go out and teach and write about entrepreneurship. But as far as the students, he said, until and unless they go to bed at night and feel their spine sweat, I'm not sure they'll really understand entrepreneurship. And as any son with their dad, that just got to me. I was like, geez, yeah, okay, fine. So I'm a failure in my dad's eyes, no matter what I do. I got to prove that I can do this spine sweating thing. So I came up with this idea. I thought, okay, so I want them to experience risk. So what if I figure out a course where they write a business plan, and then let's see, we'll pitch it to outside evaluators. I won't grade it. I'll bring it to outside evaluators. And that was really the birth of, we started the first board. And Larry Metzing is one of my original members. Larry's here tonight. I think Stroh Brand and Joe Faulkner are here. I mean, you guys, I hope you guys are here. I saw Joe earlier. I hope Stroh's here too. There they are. God bless you guys. You were part of my original group and just, started to make this happen. So we actually ran the course for about 2, maybe 3 years. And the Muncie Star Press came to see me and said, hey, we heard about from some of your students this course you're teaching. I said, oh yeah. And they said, is it really true that it's kind of like do or die? And I said, oh yeah. Yeah, they put it all on the line. So they said, well, we brought a cameraman. Can we take a photo of you? Now, I had never been in the newspaper, ever. So I was like, yeah. So they took a picture of me by my desk, standing like, Mr. Great Guy. And they said, so we'd like to get a few comments about this course. And so I tell them about the course. So the following Wednesday in the business section, on the front page, is a huge picture of me. And I was like thrilled. And it said, do or die at Ball State University. And I'm like, yeah. I want to go out and buy all the copies, start mailing them home to my dad. Look at Dad, this is going to be great. So I get a call and says, the dean would like to see you in his office today. It's a true story. So I'm kind of beaming going, sure he wants to see me. I'm on the front page. This is great. So I go prancing down, and Dr. Neil Palumbo was our dean back then. A lot of the grads remember that name. So I go into his office, and he said, please sit down. And the dean's office in those days had a couch with a little cocktail table or something. And on the table was the front page of this business section with me. And so I sit down, and he goes, did you see the paper today? And I said, yeah, I did. And I was just beaming. I was just waiting for him to say, well, how wonderful this is. And he said, I have a couple of questions about the article. And I said, sure. And he said, is it true? I said, of course. He said, well, just let me clarify. Are you running a course where you have the students develop plans and pitch to outside experts? I said, yes, I do. It's real life. It's right on the line. And he said, uh-huh. Do I also understand that you're not even in the room when they grade the student? I said, nope. They go right in. I'm out in the hallway. I wish them luck, and it's all up to the professionals and the student. And he said, do I also understand that it's A or F only? And I said, right. Took out the B, C, and D. We're just going for it all. Either you make it or you don't. That's the way the world is in entrepreneurship. And so he goes, uh-huh. And he said, have you failed anybody? I said, oh, yeah, bunches of them. I said, last year we had 32, we flunked 16. He goes, oh, my God. And I said, what? So he picks up the university catalog, and he puts it in front of me. He goes, did you ever see this? And I said, yeah. He said, do you know what it is? I said, it's the university catalog. And he said, did you ever read it? I said, no. What for? He said, because your course isn't in there. And I said, so? And he goes, so? He goes, that catalog is the contract between a matriculating freshman and a graduating senior. And I'm just kind of staring at him. And he goes, which means if a student you failed gets a sharp attorney who reviews this catalog, they will file an injunction against this university to stop us from stopping the graduation of that student. And that day, the president and I will have egg on our face, and you will be publicly fired 24 hours later. That's the so what. Bummer. I was like, jeez, thought I was going to get complimented for the article. Wow. So I just sat there, staring at the floor, as you do when you're in a dean's office. And he said, what I want to know is what you're going to do about it. And I want to know now. So I just sat there real quiet for a second. I said, well, I think we're changing lives. So I'm going to continue teaching the course until some kid gets a sharp attorney. They read the book, file the injunction, and you can fire me 24 hours later. And Neil looked at me, just stared at me, and he goes, you really are crazy. And I said, no, I just believe in what we're doing. So he goes, okay. I said, okay. He goes, yep. Well, I'll figure out a way to get in the catalog next year. That's a true story. I walked out the house, I was standing looking at him, I said, you sure it's okay? He goes, yeah, it's okay. So that's how it all started. Guys, that was the beginning of how SpineSweat really got challenged. And when everybody says, well, the university got behind it, the university didn't even know what was going on for 3 years. So they had no chance to get behind it. But that was the beginning. The other story I want to share with you, since tonight we are at a gorgeous banquet facility. I'm looking around and going, wow. And I told Debbie, I said, maybe I should tell the 2017 class how the banquet got started. I mean, sometimes, you live in this world now and you're thinking, boy, I bet the first year Dr. K was in here, this is what they had. No. Yes, the grads will tell you. No. Here's how the banquet started. In 1985, we presented up at the Ivy Tech campus up in Indianapolis. See, I always believed I wanted to get the students up in Indy. I was trying to add to the fear, make them leave the campus. And I should also tell you this. I told them they couldn't carpool. Because if you fail, you can't come to the banquet. See, the banquet was that very night of SpineSweat Day. So they couldn't carpool. They had to drive individually. And I said, I'm not going to bus you up. Sorry, it's not kindergarten. Find your cars and get up there. We'll give you the address. You figure it out. And they did. But in 1985, when we were up to Ivy Tech, that was the building we could use back then, Leo Lagrati and Karen Vaughn. Karen is here tonight. Karen, where are you sitting? Where is Karen? There she is in the back. You probably remember this. After they presented, they passed, and they were just psyched. So Karen and Leo come up to me and they go, are we going to celebrate? And I go, woo! And they said, no, we got to go celebrate somewhere. And I go, well, where? So Leo, his family had a restaurant, the Milano Inn in Indianapolis. And Leo goes, we'll go to my restaurant. We'll have a big meal and we'll drink. And I said, whoa, who's paying for all this? And he goes, you are. So I said, look, I can't, I had no budget. I had nothing, right? The program was just nothing. And I said, I don't even might do this. And Leo goes, well, I'll tell you what. If you come and we'll just have spaghetti and meatballs. If you buy that, my parents will put crafts of wine on the table for everybody. I said, all right, fine. So we go there and we have this great celebration. And that was really our first banquet. And then about a couple weeks later when the credit card bill came in, my wife goes, what in God's name is this at Milano Inn? because I paid for it and paid out of my own pocket. But I just thought it was, and then seeing the joy on their faces and how much they celebrated, it just clicked. It was like, yeah, we got to end it this way. We got to end it with a banquet. We got to end it with something that we celebrate. And that began the tradition of going to the Milano Inn. For years, we went to the Milano Inn, and that's where we celebrated. And that just sort of became a tradition. And then students came along and said, you know, I feel really disappointed that my mom and dad couldn't be at the banquet. Now, I'm still paying for this thing, okay? I got no sponsors. I got nothing. I go, yeah, I'd like them all there too. But, you know, what about my significant other? I said, yeah, well, pretty soon, right? We're talking about what you've got now. And I said, I really can't afford that. So we eventually went to my board members, and they stepped up and said, you know, Stroh and Joe and Larry, you guys stepped up and said, what do you need? We'll make it happen. And they did. And they started to sponsor the whole thing. And we moved, originally, the first move we made was to the Ritz-Charles in Carmel, and did that for a number of years. And then we finally moved to the 10th floor of the Columbia Club and had our banquets there. And they grew each year. They just grew and grew and got better and better. But that was the beginning of it. You have to understand it. It's grown to this, which is pretty special. I also admire that Dr. Goldsby and Dr. Marvel changed a few things in the program. Notice you don't present and then have the banquet that night, because that became very awkward. Because I had students who failed and had to call their parents and say, don't come to the banquet. I'm not graduating. And the parents might have been on the highway, coming up 69 or 65 to come to the banquet. It got pretty tense. Maggie remembers the one night at the Ritz-Charles, she called me. I was still back at the, we did the presentations at the Anthem building on the Monument Circle. And I was back there, and Maggie calls me on my cell phone and goes, you got to get to the Ritz-Charles right away. I said, why? She goes, so-and-so, she named one of the students that had failed. His parents are here. I don't know what to say to him. I said, don't say anything. I'll talk to him when I get there. So, but it was awkward. You know, you get there and if say, Mr. Miss So-and-so, you know, I'm sorry, but your son failed today. There is no banquet for your son. And, you know, it's a very awkward feeling. As a parent now, I can imagine, you know. So I think the change that Dr. Mike and Dr. Matt have made in changing this around, you know, when it's presented is just healthier, you know. But I was too nuts to ever think logically, right? So you guys thought a lot better than I did. I was just a fanatic in those days. So those are, you know, two of the stories. Some remembrances, God, I can remember all kinds of things. You guys, the weightlifting thing is hysterical. How you guys pegged me on that is funny. I did bench with the towel, that is true. Scott is absolutely right. I moved it about 3 inches. You know, he nailed me on that one. I'm a little older now. I still work out, and I still do bench. Yes, I do. But I do have my feet in the air, and I found out how much lighter I have to go on the weights. So anyway, it was fun. But there's a lot of great stories to all these people. One that you heard the one on the screen. That was Tom Guthrie I was talking about from Fort Wayne. Tom Guthrie was the guy that I mentioned that story, and I said it was 92. I think it was actually 93 was Tom's year. Yeah, that's a true story. And I did tell all the classes after that the Tom Guthrie legacy, because I just felt like, boy, if a guy like that was going to, you know, believe in the program that much, that he wouldn't take sort of a gift from me, you know, obviously we're making an impact. So another story I tell a lot of times is you saw Ed Kyle on here. Is Todd Eichenberry with him? I know I think Ed's here tonight. Is Todd with us too? There they are. Would you guys stand up? Because tonight there was an award presented to a partnership. This was the first partnership in the history of the program in 1992. These guys came to me and said, you know, you say that we have to present our plan individually. And I said, right. And they said, well, we're partners. I said, too bad. They said, no, you don't understand, Dr. K. We're partners. We're doing this together. I said, sorry, doesn't work. And so they lobbied me. They kept saying, no, you don't understand. We're really going to go out and do this after graduation as partners. So I said, let me think about it. So I typed up a contract. And I called them back in my office. And I said, all right, guys, I'm going to go with the partnership route, but here's what the contract says. It says that each of you will go into the room. Do you remember this, guys? Each of you will present 10 minutes alone each to the board. Then you'll go in together and finish it off. And if the board decides that one of you should fail and not the other, you're both going down. Because that's how partnerships work. You live and die with your partner. But you got to sign this right in my office, that you understand it and you agree to it. And they both signed. So that day, if you guys remember, because I remember vividly, Todd's in there presenting, Ed's in the hallway going, I hope he doesn't screw up, I hope he doesn't screw up. And then Todd comes out, Ed goes in, Todd's walking around going, I did fine, I hope he doesn't screw up. And I just remember going, well, they're feeling it now, right? Oh, God. And they both passed. They did a great job, but I've never forgotten that story because they were the first. And they really lobbied me to make it happen. So it's always stuck out in my mind that way. I think tonight, receiving a legacy award is wonderful, but, I'm getting way too much praise. I really believe that. Because when I look back to those early days, you have to understand there were no national rankings. Entrepreneurship was not a respected area in the 1980s, really, as far as an academic field. So when you talk about a legacy, the people who talk tonight of my grads, they're the legacy, not me. Yeah, I had an idea, right? But it's got to be executed. It's got to go through students. I couldn't go out there and present a bunch of business plans, right? The students had to buy in. They had to believe. They had to see something in it for themselves. It was going to be valuable and viable. Thomas Edison once said, inspiration without execution is hallucination. And that's so true. If all I had was an inspiration, but I had no students to execute, there would be no program. I'd just go back and be teaching other stuff, I guess, right? And be pulled back into the other parts of academia. But these guys believed. My early classes just believed. I kept saying, we could build something great. We could build something great. And they sort of beat the drum. They followed the drum. They just believed in it. So to me, personally, the legacy is not me. The legacy is those early classes that believed. Class of 2017, you wouldn't be here without them. There's no way. I could have run around like a little maniac and screamed and got everybody excited, but it wouldn't have done any good. Not if students didn't follow and say, yeah, we'll do it. We'll take on the challenge. Think about that. Think about a degree that had no ranking, no really respect in academia, and I'm telling them, you're going to put your graduation on the line. Think about that. I mean, a lot of students are just like, this guy's nuts. What's with him? But not these people. Now they believe, whether it's, you heard the different stories, whether it's Troy Harshman saying, I sat up and saw something, Scott Morris, just getting kind of, excited, whatever it took. And most amazingly, you have to understand the early years, if I didn't show any successes, do you think the program would have gone on? Students would have said, yeah, they put on the line, then what happens? Well, in 1985, Karen Vaughn, after she graduated, went up to Fort Wayne and started From the Heart gift baskets. Actually, it was started as a Tisket, a Tasket, until you got a remanding order from New York to stop that name. See, I remember these things. So it became From the Heart gift baskets, which became a great success. And then along comes Greg Rawson and Scott Morris in '87. And they launched their businesses. And all of a sudden, within a few years, I'm kind of proud going, hey, look what my grads are doing, right? Because now people believed and said, well, yeah. So again, without these guys, it just wouldn't happen. It's just pretty amazing. So I could go on and on with all kinds of stories about all the folks that are here because I love them all. Because of their belief in what they did and what I believe they accomplished as part of the legacy of this program. I truly believe that we're here in 2017. Certainly it's a great honor to be recognized this way, but it just wouldn't happen without you guys. I believe that in my heart, and nobody can convince me otherwise. Dr. Rutherford, where's Dr. Matt Rutherford? There's Dr. Matt. You're incredible. Matt came out of the program. I look at Matt. Matt's like, yeah, he's got it right. Matt's just done an incredible job. We go back a long way, obviously, and I'm really proud of what you've accomplished. To have someone go and start an academic career, and Matt is sitting now, he's certainly at Oklahoma State, but he's in an endowed chair at Oklahoma State, which is a very, very powerful position in academia. So I'm very, very proud of Matt and what he's accomplished. And he is becoming one of the emerging leaders in the field. So he's very humble about saying that, he's not researching like me, but he's right on my footsteps, and he's really been incredible. So it is really great, Matt, and it's an honor that you presented this to me tonight, for me, and to see how, for me, there's been a full circle, to see one of my grads become hugely successful academic as you have, and someone like Rob Matthews, who's going to complete his doctorate and is a successful and will continue to be a successful academic, is fun in my world as well. So I thank you guys. Class of 2017, so now you know some of the history. So make sure you go out and preach that always. Tell the next generations these stories. So that I hope every class that comes through understands the early beginnings. That this program that you're benefiting from now was built on the shoulders of these folks that believed in the early days. You've got to appreciate that. If you don't appreciate the past, you will never appreciate the future. So please make sure that when you come back as successes, you guys come back to share some of these stories that you heard. Pass them on. Make sure that their legacy always lives on through you and future classes, which is why Dr. Matt Marvel wants everyone engaged. If this program is going to continue to be the great program it is, it needs everybody. It needs the whole ecosystem to work. It's got to. That's what we've gone to today. Entrepreneurship programs are huge. I never would have dreamed it. But it's 33 years later, and it's the most popular major in business schools across the world. It's in 4,000 universities as a major. It has become a force. It's unbelievable what it's become. So if Ball State University is going to remain in its great position as the school that was the leader in the early days when no one else believed, you've got to make sure that you appreciate all those that did believe. So I want all the new classes to know that. I'll leave you with two things as a class, as a graduating class. One is, I ran across an article years ago in Inc. magazine about entrepreneurial terror. And I thought it kind of depicted the spine sweat. And by the way, just so you know, I want to mention this. The original name was spine sweat because that came from my father. When I left Ball State University, I asked one favor. I said, could I take the name spine sweat with me and you adjust the name? And they adjusted to senior sweat, which was a great honor to me that they said, yes, that's a story from your father. You could take that name with you. And then we'll make it senior sweat, just carry on the tradition. So that's why there's been a slight change in that, but it still means the same. But in the entrepreneurial terror story, which I think relates to what you just went through as the class of 2017, and certainly what you guys all did in your years, it says, to those of you young and not so young who are starting your first company, by that act, you've joined a very special organization. Admission is automatic, permission is neither needed nor sought, tenure is indefinite. I welcome you to the club of terror. Terror is something that entrepreneurs don't expect, can't escape, and have no way of preparing for. You won't find any college course on the subject of handling terror 101, except at Ball State. Let me be clear that by terror, I do not mean simply an intense kind of fear. The two are quite different. Fear is the sudden rush of adrenaline that's let loose when your boyfriend or girlfriend walks in the room or you almost get hit by a driver on the street. That's usually accidental, unexpected, and short-lived. Entrepreneurial terror, on the other hand, is self-inflicted. It occurs when you, an otherwise normal person, makes a conscious decision that carries you over the threshold of fear into a private world filled with monsters sucking at every morsel of your being. There can be no sleep in this world, just wide-awake nightmares. The terror you feel has its own taste, its own smell, and its own gut-wrenching pain. And it does not go away as long as you remain an entrepreneur. My own belief is that the ability to handle terror, to live with it, is the single most important and, yes, necessary ingredient of entrepreneurial success. I also believe that it's the lonely entrepreneur living with his or her personal terror who breathes life and excitement into an otherwise dull and mundane world. From that perspective, I welcome you to an exclusive club, the Club of Terror. I would add and say, I welcome the class of 2017 to a very special fraternity and sorority that we created in those early days. And the last thing you heard, a lot of talk up here about things like commitment and passion, all great things that my grads have said. They even said that I said some things that made me sound really good. I don't remember saying those things. But anyway, but passion is important. The class of 2017, I'm sure all my grads can tell you, you're coming up in a different age. This is a disruptive world, very disruptive. And things are happening at an exponential rate, far more than we ever saw in our days or even your days. It's incredible what's happening. Industries are being disrupted on a daily basis. Fortune 500 companies are disappearing. They're fading away. They're living in the past. I said tonight in an interview with Dean Bott, 19 years ago, Kodak employed 170,000 people, and they owned 85% of the world's photographic market. It's 19 years later, and they're gone. They're bankrupt and gone. Think what's going to happen in the next 19 years. Who else is going to be gone? If they don't innovate, if they don't accept disruption, understand that it might be the class of 2017 with their disruptions, or Kate, the way she's disrupting the retail industry. That's what's going to change things. So you all, whether you choose to be an entrepreneur or to have an entrepreneurial mindset in whatever organization you go into, it is critical. It's critical to your futures and to all of ours. And whatever you do, as all my grads have said, you do it with passion. You follow your passion and make your passion something that can change the world, even if it's in your small world. But that's how things start to change. So I ran across something I'll leave you with called the mysterious core. It said, for all we know about balance sheets and income statements and cash flow accounting, for all of our understanding today about marketing strategies, tactics, and techniques, and for everything we've learned in our management principles and leadership practices, there remains something essential yet mysterious at the core of this entrepreneurial mindset. It's so mysterious that we cannot see it or touch it, yet we feel it and we know it exists. It cannot be mined, manufactured, or bought, yet it can be discovered. Its source is invisible, yet its results are tangible and measurable. This mysterious core is so powerful, it can make the remarkable appear ordinary. It is so contagious, it can spread like wildfire from one to another inside of an organization, and it's so persuasive that it can transform doubt and uncertainty into conviction. Well, as you probably guessed, this mysterious core is passion. Passion is the essence of the entrepreneurial mindset. It's sometimes described as the fire in the belly that makes the improbable possible. Passion is the enthusiasm, the joy, and the zeal that come from the energetic and unflagging pursuit of a worthy, challenging, and uplifting purpose. Passion is intrinsic. Its locus is inside each and every one of you. It cannot be instilled or motivated into someone else. It must be given the freedom and opportunity to emerge. Passion emerges when one pursues their dreams, when they pursue what they love. The real challenge for any entrepreneurial leader of the future is to find ways to turn that passion into practice, to transform your dreams into reality, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you and everyone in the organization that you might be part of. The real challenge is to find ways for everyone to buy in practically and emotionally into your dreams. The ability to do that is the real mark of tomorrow's entrepreneurial leader. And it's what I hope the class of 2017 will become, so that someday maybe I'll be able to sit in the back and watch all of you as a class come up here and talk about your legacies. God bless you all.
That's a tough act to follow. Just a couple of quick announcements. Thank you very much, Don. That was a great presentation and very inspirational. I know my students are like, that's exactly what we hear from Dr. Marvel every day. Yeah, no pressure. Two quick announcements. One is all the seniors would like to get a group shot. As we start to filter out, please collect yourself over here by the backdrop for a photo. And second, I don't want the networking and the socializing and the fun to stop. Scotty Wise has graciously taken care of a drink ticket for all of us. Three Wise Men is connected to this building, and your name tag from tonight's event will get you a free cocktail or beer. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. And that concludes our program for this evening. I want to thank you all for coming out and participating, and don't forget those engagement cards at your table. Thank you.